I'm growing up and there's things I need my parents for and they're not there for it because, you know, and they work hard and they're just not there for it. And, you know, so I have to come to school and, you know, I come to school and everyone here is there. So this is like my family away from home.
Why do you all of a sudden have to turn into some saint?
I don't want to be no saint. I'm just tired of the same old things. I feel like there's something I'm not doing. And I'm looking.
For what?
I don't know. But I'm sure it's better than the park, the movies, and even the damn Coke.
I thought you said nothing was better than Coke. And me.
Well, that was then and this is now.
My peers had an impact on the direction I took. My peers in high school, the friends that I had in high school, were so much more supportive, and although they may not have known what they wanted at the time, they knew they wanted something good and something positive.
I was seen as the neighborhood as a jerk, as an idiot. You know, the big thing was by the time I was 18, I'd wind up dead or in jail. That's how my parents saw me. That's how my friends saw me. I was a tough guy. I was the big idiot. The only thing I wanted was acceptance. I wanted people around me to accept me, and I was going like, look, I wrote this. Aren't I smart? And they could care less.
In today's society, there are few easily accessible, positive alternatives for students who are not successful in school. Bongo is built on the principle that it must create its own peer group in which students work with one another toward a positive academic goal.
Most of the research that's been done about education has been about materials and how students interact with those materials. It's been about students and how they interact with teachers, but there hasn't been a whole lot done about how students interact with other students in terms of the content that they're learning. But if you start on the same level and everyone is face-to-face and nobody's in the front of the classroom, but everybody's in the front of the classroom, so all the interactions are really what the class is about. The content changes very quickly. The content is at the center of what you do, but the interactions with the content is really what the product is about.
Much of what has been learned about positive peer influence is derived from Maslow's theory of needs. Bongo did not consciously start out to meet an adolescent's needs for survival, safety, love, esteem, and self-actualization. But it is successful because the process of Bongo provides some elements of each. There are specific elements of the Bongo program which address each of these areas and provide support and comfort that is essential in adolescence.
The Bongo class is more than a class. It's what we say to our students all the time. And I think what it becomes is a community where every member of the community has an equal part. And what that also means is that students have a say, and that they're really listened to, and that their opinions make a difference.
Walking in a bongo room is like walking in and out of the Twilight Zone. It's like time, space, and all everything that binds up normal procedures, you know, whatever. It's like everything's in space. Like it's got its own kind of feel to it.
But the first time you go in, it's very scary, you know, like I was like 15, I come to the school, I come in and there's all these people laying on the floor on top of each other.
In a bongo type setting, because physically we're all on the same level. There's no teacher's desk, there's no student desk, there is no, this is the position of authority and information, but we sit in a circle on the same level and we deal with the things that we're doing as a group. I think that's just a more natural and a more informational and a better modeling way for students and adults and students and other students to interact with each other.
I'd say it's like a house party, a workshop, and a barbecue that got rained on and everyone came inside.
It's kind of like a big playpen when you think about it.
Yeah, you had a rattle, didn't you?
Now, when I think back about how the room was, it gives me like a peaceful feeling.
What specific needs and desires define your space?
The rules and regulations of the Bongo program are clearly stated. There's no ambiguity. Students sign a contract. They must be in school every day. If they're going to be absent, they have to call. They are responsible for completing assignments and work. But it's really more than the rules and the regulations of the Bongo program. There's a tremendous amount of support and caring, a real family atmosphere in the Bongo program, which makes kids want to be there and feel safe.
The Bongo group provides security for its members.
So if a student doesn't come to school, the other students are going to go and get them. If a student has a problem, the student's going to want to come to school and discuss it. Know that someone's going to listen to him and not going to judge that person. Also, it's very important that the student feels that they're part of a group. This group has an identity. Whether a student wears a t-shirt or performs in a play, there's a real sense of belonging and working on a project that's important to the whole group, and that each individual person must be there to help. And if that person is not there, it's real loss to the entire group.
You're getting these people that come back and they're like, it's almost like they're wishing you luck, like they're there with you, because they're doing the same thing that you're doing, and they have done the same thing that you did.
Yeah. They know how you feel.
They give you the support.
Yeah.
It makes you feel what you're doing is important.
At home, you know, you didn't go out on the street and say, hey, I read this great book. You know, you got to read it. Well, I did, and I got laughed at. In this, in Bongo, people went, yeah, but what can you do with it? You know, so what does it mean? Show me more. And I think that was probably the most incredible thing. And then if you turn around and whether it was a book that you read or something that you saw, if it inspired something in you to do something that was manifested in a real plane, so there was always someone around to bounce it off of, and they said, okay, this is great, but couldn't you do this, or maybe you want to do this, and it was productive in that.
Not once in the last 2 years have either one of you been there as my support, considered my needs, but you always took it for granted that I'd be there. I used you I don't know. God, I just don't know. Well, you better figure it out.
The kids in Bongo become a very tightly knit group, and they make a lot of demands on each other. And unlike their own families, they can pretty much plan that the people in Bongo, both teachers and kids, will come through for them.
There are traditions that are upheld, practiced, and cherished.
If there is going to be traditions and awards, those students need to be part of that process of selecting who gets those awards. We do something that's called the overalls that students get at the end of a play.
The overalls, I guess, is like winning an Academy Award, because you're like, it's a vote among your peers, and they think, and it's your peers who think that you deserved it.
When somebody tells you, hey, you're good, and it's not just the acting, it's you understand what we're all about. And it's coming from a long line of people. It makes you feel good. It made me feel even better to, you know, pass them on to somebody else, you know, that understood it too. I mean, that bonds you for life.
Someone was there before you arrived, and someone will be here after you to receive your legacy. These are the sentiments that exist within the context of Bongo. Theater games build trust, as do the shared experiences and growth from learning together. At-risk students, adolescents in general, need experiences they can count on. They find that when they don't understand subject matter, a book or a math problem, someone, a classmate, an intern, or a teacher, will not chastise them, but will help them to see it through.
That makes me want to be here more, because I know when I have a problem, they're not going to just push it aside and want their work. They expect the work done, but they expect you, you know, they give you time to work out your problems first and then do it. And, I don't know, it's so different. I mean, last year I was here to, when we were doing a play, I was here to practically 10 o'clock every night for like 3 weeks. And it's like I didn't want to go home. I just didn't want it. I wanted to stay here. Me and Tawdry were going to sleep here. It's just, I love it here.
What traditions will you engage in? How will you ensure that they are ongoing? How can you use trust exercises and theater games to build a sense of safety in your class? Mutual respect is necessary for learning among adolescents.
In my bongo classes, we always had the class, then the class outside of the class. We always went out and we hung out a lot together. So we were a tight-knit family. And in a real family, you also have to have that support and that love. And in bongo, you get it too. It might not be by blood, but it's that contact that you have.
All right, like she said, the first day you get into class, everybody's like nervous and stuff like that. Like everybody sits down, everybody's like by themselves. But then, as you go through the class, from like sitting on the floor together, from learning the same thing together, from arguing with each other, you get like a sense of closeness with each other. And you go from everybody sitting like this, and all of a sudden everybody's like lying on top of each other. You got your feet on somebody else's face, you know. Just by being with each other every day, know that you had to be there and everybody relied on everybody else.
We were going to Virginia, and I've never seen this happen. One girl in the class couldn't go. Her family said, no, you're not going, I don't care. You're staying here, you're going to school, and that's it. You're not going to Virginia. The whole class went to her house, sat down in the living room, and talked to her parents. You have to let her go, and then we're not going, and I mean the whole thing. And then when we went to Virginia, you know, she came along with us. Her parents said it was okay, because her parents knew what type of people we were, that nothing was going to happen to her.
What starts as self-respect as a member of a respected group grows into self-respect for one's individual worth as students test their ideas, talents, and understanding.
Well, here I'm an adult. I've always been an adult, but at least other people see me that way now.
Really one of the ways that many of us learn, by dialogue, by discourse, by talking things out, by hearing what the other person has to say, by contributing what your ideas are. And this give and take very often allows someone to put forth their own new unformulated ideas and to begin thinking on their own. That's what really makes the Bongo program so successful, that through the use of controversial ideas, students are encouraged to share their ideas and share their feelings. And again, this is how learning takes place. Students, with respect, hear what other people have to say, their ideas are voiced, and as they stand up and express themselves, they become more self-confident, they develop a greater sense of themselves, and ultimately the issue of trust and intimacy, which many of our kids don't experience in their own families, where their own feelings, whether it's sadness or joy or anger, is accepted, where the group isn't going to abandon them, where the group isn't going to laugh at them or ridicule them, and they can feel safe.
I remember once my mother asking about Bongo to someone, I forgot who it was, and she was like, oh, they give you talent. And I was like, no, they don't give it to you, they help you find it, which is the truth, you know, like you don't realize what you're capable of until somebody sits you down and you do something and it's like, wow, I just did that, you know?
What processes will you undergo with your class to instill an understanding of values and build self-esteem for your students?
In Bongo, for instance, we've started out telling them that the number 16 on our contract was, it's your job to help everyone else abide by the contract. And
the contract emphasizes honoring each other's opinions and supporting the group project. And they all agreed that was important, but none of them knew how to put it into effect. When we sat down together, they wanted Rick and me to be in charge. I mean, that's what they expected. They wanted us to make them succeed in that kind of a system. And Rick and I had to keep telling ourselves, we can't say, you take a 5-minute walk, you do that. We can't do that. We've got to set it up in some way that they have to deal with the behavior of their friends in order to get done what they want to get done.
Oh, I came back in. I hadn't been there, I guess, for, I really don't remember, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe. And I walked in and everybody just was in a circle around the room. And I came in and I immediately knew that I was going to be the focus of attention. And I got quite nervous and everybody wanted to know what happened. You know, where was I? Why wasn't I around? And I was a bit nervous, but I knew, I could feel that they were, you know, generally concerned. And they wanted to know what had happened to me and why I had joined Bongo in the first place, if I wasn't going to become part of it, and what my plans were. And they, well, actually, first I think they asked me what I thought it meant, and then they told me what they felt that it meant. Why did I join? What were my reasons? What did I want to get out of it? And then everybody took a vote whether or not I should stay. And I remember it was almost unanimous. There was one hand that said that they shouldn't let me back in.
How will you provide for the individual talents of your students?
I had been dancing for a long time, and I really wanted to dance. And that first cycle in Bongo was like my opportunity to be able to do that, and especially in a classroom situation. I was taking lessons every week, and you know, that was fun and everything, but I wasn't able to get up and do this stuff in front of my peers and in front of, you know, people that really meant a lot to me. And I remember Dale, who was one of the students, one of the people in my class, she was a dancer, had been dancing for a while, and she was able to teach classes after school once a week where everybody would just go to the class and prepare a number and go over different steps. And actually, most of the people didn't know how to dance. but she, you know, choreographed like a whole routine, more than one routine for the play that we were preparing. And David came in. David used to be a student in the Bongo program, and he came in and he taught music.